From the majestic elephants that roam the African plains to the playful dolphins that dance in the ocean waves, animals captivate us with their beauty, intelligence, and emotional depth. For centuries, humanity has reflected on whether animals possess souls, a question that connects science, philosophy, spirituality, and ethics. Today, we undertake a deep journey to explore the mysterious world of animal souls, delving into their consciousness, their emotional worlds, their cultural significance, and what all this implies for our relationship with nature.
Historical beliefs and philosophical foundations. Throughout history, many cultures have considered animals as spiritual beings or divine messengers. In Hinduism, the concept of reincarnation emphasizes that all living creatures, including animals, possess an Atman, an eternal soul. The sacred cow symbolizes divine respect for all life, reminding us that animals are part of a continuous spiritual journey. Similarly, ancient Egypt worshipped animals like cats and crocodiles as divine incarnations, infusing their forms with a spiritual essence. In Native American traditions, animals such as the wolf, eagle, and bear serve as spiritual totems or guides, embodying qualities like wisdom, strength, or protection. It is believed that these animals possess souls that transmit teachings and act as intermediaries between humans and the spiritual realm. Conversely, René Descartes in the 17th century argued that animals were mere complex machines, automatons, without consciousness or soul. His perspective influenced centuries of scientific and philosophical thought, fostering a perception of animals as beings devoid of feelings or spiritual lives. However, this view has increasingly been challenged by mounting scientific evidence. Scientific perspectives. Evidence of consciousness and emotional depth in animals. Modern science presents a very different picture, one that recognizes complex cognition, emotions, and self-awareness in many species. Elephants are known for their mourning rituals. They exhibit behaviors such as covering the bones of loved ones with soil and leaves, gently touching or caressing skulls, and remaining close to grieving family members for days. In some cases, we have observed elephants attempting to revive the dead through moans, touches, and vibrations, signs of deep social bonds and perhaps an understanding of death. Dolphins display remarkable self-awareness. When presented with a mirror, a classic test of recognition, they inspect and touch marks on their bodies, demonstrating they recognize their own image. They also communicate with complex vocalizations and collaborate to protect each other. Some rescues involving humans show their capacity for empathy and care. Primates like chimpanzees and bonobos show empathy and altruism. They have been observed comforting distressed companions, sharing food, and even mourning their dead. A famous case was a chimp named Congo, who spent hours beside the body of a deceased friend, an act that appeared as mourning. Octopuses demonstrate problem-solving abilities and curiosity-driven exploration, such as using coconut shells for shelter or escaping from enclosures, behaviors indicating intelligence and perception of their environment. Birds like crows and ravens demonstrate planning, tool use, food caching, and deception to protect resources, behaviors that suggest high cognitive abilities and possibly complex internal experiences. These scientific evidences challenge the previous idea that animals are purely instinctive beings, and instead reveal inner lives that may be as rich and complex as ours.
Emotional and social life, a world of feelings. Animals experience deep emotions: happiness, sadness, love, jealousy. Stories and scientific observations show a universe full of emotional nuance. Dogs are considered masters of emotional recognition. They detect human feelings, joy, sadness, anger, and respond with comforting and close behaviors. The famous story of Hachiko, who waited at the train station for nearly 10 years after his owner's death, exemplifies unwavering loyalty and deep love that seem to transcend mere survival. Cats also form emotional bonds. Numerous studies confirm they experience attachment and perhaps jealousy or anxiety with changes in their social environment. The perception that only dogs are emotional has been debunked in favor of a greater understanding of feline sensitivity. Primates like orangutans, gorillas, and chimpanzees show friendship, cooperation, and emotional suffering. They have been documented crying, comforting injured or distressed individuals, and participating in mourning rituals for their dead. The deep empathy they exhibit suggests they experience an emotionally complex life akin to ours. Whales and orcas engage in social dances and singing that, beyond communicative purposes, may have an emotional and spiritual component, reinforcing the idea that they feel and express profound feelings. Caregivers of orcas have even reported that these animals cry and show signs of deep sadness at times, indicating a complex inner world.
Cultural, religious, and spiritual significance. Throughout history, animals have been symbols of virtue, divine messages, and spiritual guides. In Hinduism, animals are associated with deities. The cow, for example, is sacred and symbolizes abundance and life, considered an incarnation of the divine itself. The strength of the tiger stands for power and protection, and the agility of Hanuman, the monkey god, represents spiritual virtues. In ancient Egypt, gods often took animal forms, Anubis as a jackal, Bastet as a cat. Animals were considered possessors of souls, and temples and rituals were dedicated to venerating them. The reverence for cats, for instance, reflects a deep belief in the spirituality residing within these creatures. In Native American traditions, animals are not only symbols, but also spiritual guides or totems. The wolf represents loyalty and protection. The eagle symbolizes vision and divine connection. The bear embodies courage and introspection. Shamans communicate with these beings spiritually, seeking vital lessons from their wisdom. In Buddhist and other spiritual traditions, animals are regarded as beings with souls that have reincarnated in different forms. Respect and compassion for animals, therefore, are seen as essential moral principles, recognizing their intrinsic spiritual importance. Reaffirming that animals have souls within these cultural and spiritual contexts invites us to reflect on the deep interconnection we share with all of creation and encourages us to act with reverence and respect toward them.
Ethics and responsibility for animal souls. Understanding that animals might have souls and inner lives full of feelings urges us to reconsider how we treat them. Factory farming, animal trafficking, invasive experiments, and industries that exploit animals become ethically unsustainable once we acknowledge their spiritual dimension and sensitivity. Movements advocating for animal rights promote fair treatment, laws protecting their integrity, freedoms, and well-being. Adopting a vegan or plant-based diet is not only about reducing suffering, it's about honoring the dignity of beings capable of experiencing joy and pain, recognizing that their souls deserve respect. Protecting habitats and endangered species is another expression of valuing animal souls. It's an acknowledgement that each life has intrinsic worth. Efforts to preserve ecosystems, restore degraded areas, and establish protected reserves help ensure these creatures can continue living in their natural environments, developing their behaviors, social bonds, and emotional expressions, all part of a vast web of life that merits respect and reverence. Ultimately, conserving nature is a way of honoring and appreciating the souls that inhabit it, recognizing that within each of us also resides a spark of that same divine life.
The intersection of science, philosophy, and spirituality. Scientific evidence has provided compelling proof of animal intelligence, emotions, and self-awareness, while philosophy and spirituality deepen our appreciation of their intrinsic worth and connection to the universal spirit. Thinkers like Alfred Russel Wallace and Henry Beston argued that animals are not just biological entities, but spiritual beings sharing in the great network of life. The biocentric worldview affirms that all forms of life have intrinsic dignity and a spark of spirit deserving respect. Traditions like Buddhism, Taoism, and Sufism promote compassion, love, and reverence for every creature, recognizing the interconnectedness of all existence. The synthesis of these perspectives offers us a richer, deeper understanding. Animals possess not only consciousness, but also a soul or spirit that warrants acknowledgement and protection. Personal reflections and a call to action. Exploring the profound depths of animal souls invites us to question our own actions and attitudes toward the living beings with whom we share this earth. Every creature, from the tiniest ant to the majestic elephant, harbors a spark of life, consciousness, and perhaps a soul. Recognizing this can transform us. What can we do?
Foster empathy and respect in our daily interactions with pets, wildlife, or communities. Support laws and organizations that protect wildlife and promote sustainable, humane practices. Become responsible consumers, choose cruelty-free products, and advocate for adoption and well-being initiatives. Educate others about the importance of acknowledging animals' emotional and spiritual dimensions. Imagine a world where we see animals not just as resources or threats, but as beings with souls, deserving of love and respect. The compassion we show them reflects our own spiritual growth and moral evolution, and ultimately enriches our own lives. The exploration of animal souls invites us to adopt a more compassionate, respectful, and conscious outlook. It reminds us that all life is valuable and interconnected, that love and compassion are the true paths to honor that connection. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the mystery and beauty of animal souls. If this has touched your heart, I invite you to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments. Let's learn, grow, and work together for a world where every soul, human and non-human, is respected and cherished.
Thank you for accompanying us on this path toward understanding the profound depths and sacredness of animal souls. Let's continue to promote a more loving and conscious life for all beings on this planet.